Conspiracy theories. Every year, millions of people think something huge is being hidden from them. That the moon landing was fake. That the vaccines were a cover-up. That the government is controlling the weather. If you spend enough time online, you're going to see these exist, each with its own passionate community of believers. At first glance, it's easy to dismiss them. You might think, how could someone believe in something so obviously false? But here's the uncomfortable truth. Conspiracy theories aren't just about misinformation or gullibility. They're about general human nature. They reveal how our minds are wired, how we fear uncertainty, and we choose the identity we are through shaping it. Now, what I'm interested in specifically and why I chose to film this video is how can we embrace the power of believing conspiracy theories to benefit our lives more deeper? How can we understand the human psyche more through the lens of a conspiracy theory? So in this video, let's unpack the psychology behind conspiracy theories, why they spread and why they stick, and why any one of us could find ourselves believing one. Welcome back to Hyden's List. This is a channel where I don't let you off the hook and I explore psychological phenomenon and try to understand how they work, what their driving motivators are, and how we as a society can implement them to our benefit instead of against us. Humans are natural born pattern seekers. It's one of our oldest survival tools that we have. If you're an early human and you're walking through tall grass and you hear rustling, your brain has two options. We assume it's the wind or we assume it's the predator. If you assume the wind, you die. If you assume a predator, you're wrong. You're just paranoid. Over tens of thousands of years, our brains have evolved to realize and see patterns, even when they aren't real. Psychologists call this illusion pattern perception, the tendency to find meaningful connections and relations in completely random data. It's why we see faces and shapes in clouds. It's why we see different colors form onto different shapes in toast or images in complete staticness. It's why we might see evidence of a secret plan when in reality it's complete and utter randomness. So when a tragedy happens like a plane crash or a pandemic, our brains start connecting dots. We want to believe there's a reason, a cause, an agent behind it, because randomness feels unbearable, it feels unexplainable. It's more comfortable to think someone's doing this than to believe no one is in control at all. Psychologists have found that conspiracy theories spike during times of crisis, when people feel powerless or uncertain. Think about it. During a pandemic, people lose jobs, routines, loved ones. The world stops making sense. And in amongst that chaos, the mind starts reaching for control, wherever it can find control, pattern, and understandability. Dr. Karen Douglas, a social psychologist at the University of Kent, puts it this way. Conspiracy theories provide people with a sense of order. They make an unpredictable world feel more predictable. So when people say fall for conspiracy theories, what we're really saying is they're trying to make sense of an unbearably senseless world. And sometimes that's all any of us are doing. We couldn't care less about the conspiracy itself, just trying to minimize that dissonance in our mind. Section 3, the tribe effect. Conspiracy theories aren't just ideas, they are communities. And belonging is one of the most powerful human needs there is. Many people who get pulled into conspiracy theories aren't actually looking for information. They're looking for connection. When you join a group who genuinely believes we are the ones who see the truth, you get a rush of belonging and mere superiority at that time. That can be intoxicating. You get to be both the outsider and the hero. You're part of a secret, covert in-group fighting against the system. Everyone else, they're simply sheep. Social identity theory shapes this world. We define who we are by who we're not. Conspiracy theories offer a clear us versus them perspective. The believers versus the deceived. The truth versus lies. And the stronger that identity becomes, the harder it is to leave. Because leaving doesn't just mean abandoning a belief, it means losing your tribe, your community, your new friends. That's why you can't just debunk someone out of a conspiracy theory. You're not arguing against the facts, you're threatening their family. There's another player in this story too, one that amplifies everything, the algorithm. The internet was supposed to democratize information, but in practice it's turned into a conspiracy amplifier. Platforms like YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, they're designed to keep you watching, not to keep you informed. And what keeps people watching? Content that triggers emotion, especially fear and anger. If you watch one video about the moon landing, the algorithm's going to recommend you a following video regarding the moon landing, or about how NASA is lying to you, then one about flat Earth, and then one about government cover-ups. And before you know it, you're in a rabbit hole you didn't even mean to enter. Research from MIT found that fake news spreads 6 times faster on social media platforms like X than actual true news, because it's more novel and more emotional to the reader. And once you're surrounded by those ideas, they start to feel normal. That's called the availability cascade. The more we hear something, even if we refuse to believe it, the more we believe it's true. It's not just misinformation, it's attention warfare. And our brains were never built to handle it. More on this in my other video labeled Why You Think You Have ADHD. Section 5, the ego protection mechanism. One of the hardest things for humans to admit is that they're wrong. Our brains treat belief systems like it's a part of our identity. So when we challenge those beliefs, it feels like a personal attack. That's why conspiracy believers so often fail. Facts bounce off like bullets on armor. Psychologists label this motivated reasoning. We don't think objectively, we think defensively. Once we're invested in an emotional idea, our brains start filtering and selecting information to cater towards that idea. We accept it, confirm it, and protect it with everything we can, and dismiss anything that threatens it. And in conspiracy culture, this often gets turbocharged by ego. Believing, I know the truth, when others are clearly blind and can't see it. It feels empowering. It turns skepticism into superiority. Phrases like wake up or do your own research aren't just about conspiracy. They're about status. I'm simply smarter than the sheep. But that's the trap. The smarter we think we are, the more blind we become to our own minds. Even highly educated people fall into this trap, because intelligence doesn't just separate you from bias, it just makes you better at justifying it. Now, what's the emotional payoff? Here's something that often gets overlooked. Conspiracy theories aren't just about facts, they're about feelings. They offer a kind of satisfaction that reality can't cater towards. In a world where most of us feel small, powerless, and unheard, believing in a grand hidden plan makes us feel worthy. It gives your life a sense of a mission, that you're not just an ordinary person scrolling on your phone. You're part of a secret battle for the truth. And once again, that's intoxicating. And then once that emotional high sets in, rational arguments don't stand a chance. It's not that people are irrational, it's that they're emotionally invested in the topic. Conspiracy theories fill a void, a need for meaning, belonging, and control. They're in many ways modern myths. So how do you actually reach someone who's gone down a rabbit hole? The instinct is to fight back with facts, things that we can quantify, we can grab, to show them your evidence is wrong, to prove them wrong. But as we know, that almost never works, because logic isn't what got them here in the first place. What works better is empathy. When someone feels seen and respected, their defense is lower. You can start asking gentle questions. How did you first hear about this? What makes this theory feel true to you? What would change your mind? You're not attempting to debate, you're attempting to connect. Because the opposite of conspiracy thinking isn't blind trust. It's healthy skepticism, guided by empathy. We can teach people how to think about things critically without assuming everything is a lie. We can help them find meaning without needing villains in every story. Section 9, why it matters. Now, why does this all matter? At first, conspiracy theories might seem harmless, but there are real-world consequences involved. They fueled violence, eroded trust in science, and fractured entire communities. In 2020, a man burned down 5G towers because he believed they spread COVID. During the pandemic, thousands refused vaccines, and governments worldwide have seen a public trust collapse. Conspiracy theories are often more than stories. They're weapons of confusion. They make it possible to agree on something or a shared reality. And without that, democracy itself starts to crumble, because you cannot begin to solve problems where both parties don't agree they even exist in the first place. Now, here's the paradox. The same curiosity that drives people to question the world, it also drives science, art, and discovery. The difference isn't curiosity itself, it's where we direct it. Healthy curiosity asks, what evidence do we have? How could I be wrong? What would it take to change my mind to believe otherwise? Toxic curiosity says, I already know the truth. I just need to prove it. If we can protect the first kind and resist the second, we can stay open-minded without falling for every secret online plot. And that's what makes the search for truth so much more meaningful. This concept of conspiracy theories can be applied to everyday life. It's an essential part of human contact, how we interact with another, and how we communicate, we understand the other's perspective. Thanks for watching, subscribe, like, and I'll be back next time to keep you on the hook.